Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So today we are going to have a conversation with Harshit, and before I get to the introduction part of Harshit, let me tell a couple of very interesting things about Harshit. One, he saves 75% of his income living in a city like Bangalore, and he currently works with one of the big 4 companies in consulting. And second interesting thing is that he was able to switch from Infosys to one of his current firms right now, and he was able to get a 3x jump in his salary. So on this video, we are going to have a conversation with Harshit about his spending habits, earning habits, etc. And we'll also talk about sort of peer pressures that all of us go through at the age of 26. That is where Harshit currently is in terms of marriage, buying a house, etc. How he is approaching all these things. And then finally, I will share my insights as to is there anything that he should be doing about his finances. Okay, so over to Harshit, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Harshit. I'm from Allahabad. And that is my birthplace and that is my graduation place as well. I started my journey back in 2018 with Infosys, and currently I'm working as a data scientist in one of the big 4 companies. And it has been almost like 2 years since I started my financial journey. It was, I started watching Akshat's video, and over a period of time I started owning financial skills, and I also realized that it is one of the most primary skills that everyone needs to have.
Okay, so one critical thing that I would want to ask right off the bat is that how did you make a 3x jump in your salary? If you can set some context. So where were you working, and then how did you achieve that 3x jump in salary? Because many of the people your age, they would want to get very high salaries. So what would be your tips to them?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I decided that according to my strengths and what are the things that will be beneficial in the long term. Okay, so since we are going into the phase of artificial intelligence, machine learning and data science. So since I was from the computer science background and I was good in maths, so I had already anticipated that if I invest right now into all these things, so in the future ROI will be great. It's not only for the purpose of the money, it's also about the work that you also enjoy doing, because at the end of the day, if you are earning even well, but if you're not enjoy doing it, then it will become gruesome. So then what I decided that I studied, I internally switched in my previous company. And after taking the hands-on experience, I started approaching other people, okay, where I just tried to make my resume very, professional, okay, where I was trying to give all the relevant keywords which were important to get shortlisted. And then whenever you have to present yourself to the others, you have to tell them that you have been a valuable asset to the other company. And you can also tell them that how it correlates to your existing passion. It is more like a story. People are eager to hear your story. So if you can convince them with your story, then people are definitely gonna take you in, because once they see that there is a spark within you, they will definitely desire to have you in their company.
Awesome. All right. So just to quantify that, if you can talk about how much money you are making before at working at Infosys. Now, how much are you making?
I won't give exact figures, but I can say you that it was not taxable income.
Okay.
And right now I am at the almost highest tax bracket of 30%.
Okay. All right. So we'll get into the specific numbers also as to how much Harshit is making currently. But before going there, I just want to recap some key important points that he has been speaking about as to how did he achieve that 3x jump. So what I learned from him is fairly simple, that hey, number one, pick like a niche area where you can grow. So to him, it was machine learning and data science, right? So that is the area where he started to focus on. Through the conversation, I also got a sense that he started doing some side projects and a bunch of other projects, and he started approaching people and integrating and talking about the fact that he had some personal passion on it. So it's a combination of your personal and professional passion that would allow you to make very big jumps. Now let us talk about living in Bangalore and how you are able to save 75% of your salary. And to that end, let us start talking about some numbers, that how much money are you currently making, what are your expenses like, and how much are you spending or investing right now, right? So 3 areas.
So currently I'm earning almost like 22 CTC. So wherein monthly I get around 120 per month. Okay, so as far as my money habits are concerned, so almost save 70 to 75% of my money. And first coming to the expenses part, so overall it comes around to be 30 to 35,000. And then rest of the amount of money, because I make sure whenever my money comes on that day, okay, I make sure that I invest into these stocks.
All right, so I'll stop you there because I can already hear a lot of keyboard warriors. They would be commenting a lot that, you know what, you can't live in Bangalore at 35,000 rupees total expense. That too when you are a fitness freak, when you are eating right, etc. etc. So okay, so let me play the devil's advocate and let me grill him that how his expenses are only 35,000. If you can give a breakdown of your expenses.
Okay, so if I have to give you the breakdown term of my expenses. So 12,000 goes into the rent. Okay, and
So are you living with someone?
yeah, I'm living with someone because right now, since it has been only a few months back in Bangalore, I moved. So the thing is that real estate people are just charging like heftily, like they're taking their revenge for the past 2 years that these guys didn't get. So I knew that these will be my few expenses, 12,000, and then after that I don't know. I mean, I have hired a maid which cook for me and for my roommate because I live in a 2 BHK flat.
Okay.
So that constitutes to around 4,000.
Yeah.
And then you can take some grocery, so that will be per person around 2,000. And apart from that, there are Wi-Fi expenses which are almost like 1,500 that you can take. And apart from that, there are certain loans which are going on, which are related with some of the upskilling which I am doing currently.
Okay.
And apart from that, few money, like I almost spend 2,000 around in buying books every month.
Alright.
Okay. And apart from that, I just keep 2 to 3,000 amount of money for my leisure time, where I might prefer to go watch some movie, or may go to visit some new place, or may, because I'm quite new here in Bangalore, so there is a lot of things to explore.
Awesome. So 2-3 critical points. So number one, he saves 75% of his entire income, approximately speaking. Interesting thing is that if you save more than 70% of your income for a period of 10 years and you do not undertake lifestyle inflation, and then you can theoretically retire in 10 years, right? So that is the amazing part. That one thing that caught my eye. Second thing, that just to again play the devil's advocate, or rather like defend him, because again I can hear a lot of keyboard sounds and people would say that this is like incorrect, this, that. So how many people are you living with?
I'm staying in a 2 BHK.
Okay.
Because since I wanted to have my own privacy, so I made sure that I will stay in one single room, and then there is another person who's also staying in 2 BHK. So there are two people staying in 2 BHK.
So two, and he is single, ready to mingle. I don't know, right? So anyways, right? So shout out to all the ladies, right? So and he's in Bangalore, so you can contact him definitely, right? So now you are going to get like a lot of traction, so to say, right? So okay. So anyways, coming back to the financial topic, right? So okay, he's able to save 75% of his income, which is amazing, right? He is able to do fairly well just by spending 35,000 rupees. So I just want to delve deeper a little bit. Or are there any future liabilities that you say for which you are saving?
For now, there are not any liabilities, because earlier I had a plan to do masters from abroad. Okay. Back in 2020, I had given GRE exam and TOEFL because I wanted to go into the MS and do from data science. Okay, but then I thought about, given my present situation, how can I still go into the field without maximizing my loan, because otherwise it will become a liability for me. So I right now decided, because since we are living in internet era age, okay, so we can maximize, given if you are curious enough, you can learn anything, because right now there are so many courses available. You can upskill yourself on any point, and you can reach to the people. See, there are positive points about the universities as well that you cannot deny, but you have to also see your present situation as well. So you have to accordingly decide. So I decided that I won't go, because right now how much I am earning right now yearly, I would have taken that much loan. So instead of going and taking 2 years of course, I am already earning right now that much. The future things involved, if you have to see, so right now I'm into mostly focusing how can I increase my sources of income. That is my prime goal with which I am operating, because I want to reach at a level where money starts mattering less. I don't want to live a life where I am all the time thinking about money.
Okay. And what type of expenses you have cut that you used to undertake in the past, but now you are not undertaking those expenses?
So one of the few expenses that I used to take is that back in Bangalore, once I arrived here, so for 1 month or 2 months, I used to eat a lot outside. Okay, but that were healthy foods, but I knew that they were quite costly as well. But I started then reducing them by going local food shop. Okay, so I just curated some data, so I used to spend around like 4 to 5,000 on them. Okay, so in the past almost like 2 months, I've been able to cut down that expense by almost like 50%. So it is minimized, but still, sometimes, staying in Bangalore, you're not getting the ghar ka khana, you're getting from the maids. So you think that you're earning well as well, so you get the temptation कि भाई इतना तो चलता है.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So going forward, what are the type of things that you would want to spend your money on, right? And why?
First of all, I just, want to make sure I'm spending money less in materialistic things, more on the experiences side. Okay, I have not been a traveling person, but I aspire to travel to different places. Okay, that is one of the things that I want to do. But right now I get into the dilemma, because if I don't save right now much enough, so how would I travel? Because if I travel right now, I won't be able to save. So there is always a dilemma.
Okay.
So right now I'm sacrificing a little bit on my 20s, so that maybe I can enjoy later in 30s in travel side, and don't want to own a lot of materialistic things, but I want to make sure that my family and my people who are related with me, if they are dependent upon me, I can take care of them even if I'm the only person earning in the family.
Okay, so Harshit has been my student, and we are meeting on Teachers Day, by the way, so he bought a lovely gift for me as well, so thank you so much. And a lot he said, he probably drew a little bit of that from me, right? So that's it. The reason why I say that is that this is actually a good habit, and even I try to sort of encourage people early on, right, when they are young, that work really hard, save a lot of your money, spend less on materialistic things. So these are some of the concrete lessons that we can see that playing out, right? So therefore I want to stress on this fact. Okay, so before we move on to speaking about some financial pressures, right, especially from in terms of buying a house, getting married, so we'll have that conversation too. But before going there, let us quickly speak about your investment thesis, right, and where are you investing your money, and how your investment philosophy has changed over the last few months or years.
So earlier I used to think that I will buy mutual funds. Okay, I had about one mutual fund that was related with index fund usually. After I started watching you, then I thought this is not that complex as it looks. That if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to dedicate some time, you can analyze the win. It's not like a rocket science. So right now the scenario is that out of the money that I save, I almost allocate 85 to 90% to the direct equity. Okay. And rest to the crypto. So that's the money allocation that I usually do, because crypto is fairly new to me. So I don't want to overexpose my portfolio to it, because there is a risk factor involved. And coming to the portfolio equity related, okay, so I just try to see India's long-term growth story. So I make sure that all the good financial companies are there, where they have certain criteria like low NPA, loan growth book, CASA ratio, and all these things are there. So just learned all these things. Okay. So I take account all these things, and then there are some FMCG stocks which I try to balance then again with some growth stocks, and there are some balanced stocks.
So many newbies might be watching this video, and they might be having that FOMO, right? That Harshit is saving like 75%, we are spending so much money eating out, whatnot. So this is not a FOMO exercise, just try to improve wherever you can, that's it. Second, in terms of his investment philosophy, he has picked several of the points from our classes. So he is speaking about slightly more advanced stuff, so I will just sort of mellow it down. So one, he is into growth assets, right? So he's investing in equities and cryptos as of now, simply because he's fairly young. So this is again not a push from our side that hey, you also do the same. You need to analyze whatever makes sense for you as per your goals and ambitions. This is part one. Part two, that going forward, I would sort of, my one quick piece of advice would be that start investing a little bit in debt also, right? So start investing a bit there. Not as of now, because you are still fairly young, but going forward maybe, right? Third, as of now, he has not done like a planning for big goal-based things. For example, earlier on, he was speaking about the fact that he might not do foreign education, he might not buy house, etc. So all that comes into planning for your investment as of now also. Okay, so we have changed our shooting location. We are going to walk and talk. Let's talk about financial pressure as a 26-year-old person, right? So number one financial pressure that all of us usually get from our parents is buying a house. So have you thought about that, or will you be thinking about it? What is your viewpoint there?
Currently, as of now, since I started earning, so I thought that I might buy a house, but not right now unless until I have a good amount of cash flow, where I make sure that most of the amount of that I'm paying it should be in cash, rest of the EMI, so that I don't have a burden where I have to worry about that I have a lot of EMI. So I don't want that my most of my money should go to the EMI, otherwise it will be kind of difficult for me to handle. So I might buy it for next 10 years. I'm not gonna buy that for sure.
So I hope a lot of young people listening to it, and their parents also listening to them, if your kids are doing well, right, financially, and if they want to create cash flows, that's a good measure. I have started getting into real estate now at my age, right? So I'm like 34, I've started getting into it, so I'm like much older than Harshit, right, from that perspective. But at Harshit's age, I used to do the same, that I was planning to control a lot of my cash flows. I did not run after real estate investments per se. Now let's talk about the second topic, which is around marriage. So what is the pressure there, if at all, and how are you planning for it?
For the marriage part, actually the thing is that if you start earning well in the typical Indian middle class family, कि भाई अब तो तू तो settle हो गया, just let's get married. ठीक है, like parents भी they just torture you emotionally कि अब हम लोग बूढ़े हो रहे हैं, हम लोग का ख्याल कौन रखेगा, so you should get married. ठीक है, तो for marriage right now, for next 2 to 3 years, maybe I can look down to settle down. Okay, but then there are certain things which are important me for the long term. कि ऐसा पार्टनर मिले जिसके साथ फाइनेंशियल वैल्यूज सेम हो, क्योंकि आई हैड रेड वन स्टैटिस्टिक कि मैरिज में जो डाइवोर्स का सेकंड टॉप मोस्ट रीजन होता है वो फाइनेंस होता है. So I have to be very, cautious about it, because if I don't find someone who is compatible with me on that person, so वो North Pole and I will be on South Pole, so that will become very difficult for me to spend the life.
Yeah, that is a very well thought out way of thinking through things. एक बहुत quick important point on this would be that काफ़ी comments भी आते हैं on YouTube that Akshat, you are a minimalist. Is your wife a minimalist too? So the answer is yes, right? And I was lucky. It's not as if that when I was Harshit's age, I was thinking about ki what kind of a life partner will I have? Will she be compatible from a financial viewpoint or not? But looking back in the hindsight, I was lucky. But of course, and we are not like marriage counselors, and we don't have like a lot of gyan to give there. But the simple viewpoint is that the financial consonance needs to be there between partners. Otherwise, of course, it can lead to a lot of problems. So that is definitely on cards. Okay, so final leg that we will speak about quickly is around how you're going about building your portfolio, if you have thought about that, or any areas where you are struggling with, where you would need my help or my suggestions.
Can you please tell me where I can start booking the profits, and how can I make sure that even if there are some losses, how can I convert them into profit?
So after listening to entire Harshit's story, right, so 2-3 things stand out, right? So number one, he's investing a lot of his money, right, in the stock market / crypto market. He's in the portfolio construction stage. So this is literally stage 1 of your portfolio design. Right now, you should not worry too much about booking profits or trading, etc., etc. The idea should be to buy good stocks, sit tight. There is no point in booking profits, because even if you book profits, you will have to reinvest the money. And for someone like Harshit, who does not have a lot of financial responsibility per se as of now, he's unmarried, etc., etc. So a lot of financial responsibility is not there. Your idea right now should be to grow your portfolio. That's it, right? So that is one. Second, if you want to book profits, then you should purchase stock from a profit booking point of view. For example, if you're taking some swing trades, you are deliberately getting into those stocks simply because of the viewpoint that you want to make some short-term money. So that is the intent with which you are purchasing. But you should not play this game much. What you should simply do right now is that, hey, understand that you are in that portfolio construction stage. You are already getting a lot of cash flow. You are investing 75% of your income, almost 60-75%, so which is huge amount. So the only good thing that you should be doing for your portfolio is sit tight, let it grow. And after a while, once your portfolio hits a big number, then you should worry too much about that, it's a sideways market, upward market, downward market. Then try to book profits and make money from the stock market. Okay, and 2-3 key things that we'll recap, right? Unless Harshit has more questions for me. So one key good thing is that, or one key important thing that he needs to start doing subsequently in the future is that he would have to invest in debt, because right now his portfolio is very aggressive. So if you are an investor who is fairly young, it works. But as you grow older, when you are 30, 35, when you have kids, so you would have to put some money in debt, right? So irrespective of how good you are in the stock market, because you need to balance out your portfolio. And second thing is that he is already very well financially placed in terms of his spending habits, expenses, etc. And he has been doing wonderfully well. The best thing that I loved from this conversation is his stress on upskilling, taking care of his health. If you upskill, take care of your health, then your money automatically grows, right? So that's what I would leave you with. So any more questions that Harshit would want to ask?
So yeah, my future aspirations is to have my own venture, because back in the past I had done entrepreneurship in my college days. It was just a failed venture. Okay, so back at the time I had decided that this is something which I have to do into the long term. So currently when I have chosen the data science, because right now every product that you are getting built right now, they are getting built by the feedback of the customers. Okay, so how can I ensure that I take this job as a journey where I can eventually turn it into entrepreneurship journey?
Right. So while I'm not a data science expert, right, I would not be able to give you product level information, but essentially what Harshit is trying to achieve is that he wants to move out of the corporate world at some stage and start his own set of ventures, and it starts with productizing whatever he is doing as of now, right? So I think the best advice that I would have is that build your distribution, right? So distribution means that if you're active on LinkedIn, YouTube, etc., then you have an existing set of people who would trust you, right? Because you are adding value to them every single day. And from there, depending on the feedback, you can test out your products with your community. You can ask for feedback from people directly. And that gives you a lot of insights on how you can leverage your current skill set and whatever resources you have to offer products that actually change people's life, right? So that is where you should get started, and that would be my advice to you. And that could literally be step one of productizing and moving out of the corporate world, so to say. So it was a pleasure having Harshit on this first episode, and especially thanks for the lovely gift that he has given me. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation with Harshit. There is a lot to learn from this 26-year-old who is saving 75% of his income. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next episode.